Topping today's news, good news on upgrades to the electricity grid here in New Providence. Prime Minister Davis defends his statement regarding the possible takeover of the Grand Bahama Power Company. A man found dead in his Garden Hills home after being missing for 2 days. And we get more on the record tourism numbers from 2025. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Junkanoo Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It is a pleasure to have you join us. The Bahamas Grid Company, BGC, today announced significant improvements in grid reliability across New Providence as a result of its foundational grid upgrade project. 2025 year-end reliability data confirms that the ongoing $130 million upgrade initiative has already reduced outages, improved service quality, and delivered tangible benefits to customers as it targets completion in late April. Since the last project update in the fall of 2025, construction milestones include 193 new steel poles have been installed, replacing aging wooden infrastructure and providing Category 5 hurricane-grade resilience. 260,000 feet of transmission cable has been reconducted with double capacity wire to support future load growth and new generation. And 3 substations are under construction, which will enable improved systems protection, faster restoration, and the ability to reroute power to limit large-scale outages. BGC says the project remains within budget and on track for completion by the end of April 2026, which is about 20% ahead of schedule. Good news there for our electricity issues. Emera Incorporated says the Prime Minister Philip Davis, may have been a bit hasty in announcing the memorandum of understanding between the energy supplier and the government to take over the Grand Bahama Power Company, although discussions seem to be moving in the right direction. Yesterday in Parliament, responding to criticisms from the official opposition, Prime Minister Davis pointed out that Emera's leaked internal note regarding a possible takeover of the Grand Bahama Power Company does not contradict anything he said about the MOU.
The honorable member for East Grand Bahama would have referenced this letter from Emera that seems to be in contrast with what the Prime Minister had expressed yesterday, that there is this issue of, is a deal complete, Madam Speaker, all right?
The Chair recognizes the honourable member for Carroll and Rumpkin to Salvador.
Please, let us be honest in our characteristics of Wet Horn. Emera's note does not contradict anything that I said. Their concern was, in their view, I ought to have waited until they would have told their staff about the arrangements. They wished to have done it. That's what that note is about. And if you followed what I said, look at exactly what I said, there's no contradiction. And even when I was asked by reporters, when will the deal will be completed, I indicated, and it's in the newspaper as well, that it will be anywhere up to 60, 90 days for final completion. So where's the contradiction? And why do you think you're trying to find something to make hay out of? You all should be happy that there's an effort being made to bring relief to the residents finally to the residents of Freeport, when you all didn't even lift one finger to do so.
The matter arose during debate on the Climate Change and Environmental Advisory Unit Bill 2025 and Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiative Amendment Bill 2025 in the House of Assembly yesterday. The Grand Bahama Port Authority also issuing a statement saying that they were not aware of a final agreement on the takeover. The Grand Bahama Port Authority also says that as the regulator, any transaction involving a change in ownership or control of the Grand Bahama Power Company would require the consent of the GBPA. This week, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, who is also the Minister for Tourism, Investments and Aviation, announced record numbers in tourist arrivals for the third consecutive year. However, the challenge still remains to attract more stopover visitors who tend to stay longer and spend more money in the country. Mr. Cooper shared the following statistics as it relates to sea and air arrivals, with stopover visitor numbers lagging a bit compared to 2024.
Sea arrivals exceeded 10.6 million visitors, representing a 14% increase year over year, nearly doubling 2019's level. That success reflects years of relationship building with our cruise partners, improved port operations, and new infrastructure across our destinations. But while cruise is a volume engine, stopover is a value engine, and both matters. Air arrivals, for their part, were resilient amid disruptions, with nearly 1.7 million foreign air visitors, slightly 1.6% behind 2024. But we note late-year positive momentum, including year-over-year growth in the month of December, with 1.1% year-over-year, notwithstanding weather constraints, global aviation disruptions, and geopolitical issues. But I will also put in context that the same figures show stopovers in 2020. I will put in context, Madam Speaker, what the same figures show. Stopovers in 2025 remained above 2019 levels, 1.821 million compared to 1.806 million.
Mr. Cooper was also pleased to share positive tourist arrival numbers for Family Islands, especially on Grand Bahama.
Our overall positive performance in the Family Islands demonstrate a simple truth. When we invest in product, when we have access and partnerships, visitors do not only come to Nassau, but they also travel across the islands of the Bahamas. It validates our strategy of pushing our 16 island destinations, as we did proudly with our new Lifetime campaign featuring Lenny Kravitz. This success is evident in Grand Bahama's rebound. For the first time in more than 22 years, Grand Bahama's arrival has eclipsed 1 million arrivals, reaching 1.1 million at the end of December 2025.
For his efforts in tourism, investments, and aviation, Mr. Cooper has been named the Jones Communications Network Person of the Year for 2025. Concerns by co-workers led to calls for a welfare check, and then the sad discovery of a man's body in his home on Daffodil Avenue, that's in Garden Hills, number 1. Police say sometime around 2 p.m., officers went to the home, and once inside, they found the man with stab wounds. Here is Police Press Liaison Officer, Chief Superintendent Sharia King, with more details.
Police came to the residence where they gained entry by breaching the residence and discovered the victim. We also later found out that he had stab wounds to the upper body. We have to use or have the assistance of an autopsy to assist us with time of death.
The victim has been identified as 42-year-old Jamal Ferguson, an employee of Bahama. Reports are that back in 2022, there was an attempt on Ferguson's life during an armed robbery. Again, police are appealing to members of the public who may have information that could assist in apprehending the person or individuals responsible for this incident to contact 911, 919, or the Crime Stoppers Investigations Department at 502-9991 or 2. You can also remain anonymous and call Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, 328-8477. This would mark the 5th murder for the year 2026. And finally, in this segment, the 2026 Junior Junkanoo Parade set for tonight on Bay Street, downtown Nassau. 32 schools have registered to participate, and the competition is expected to be fierce, especially in the senior schools division. The parade got started at 6 p.m., and they will go into the late evening hours until they decide a champion or a number of champions in the various categories. You're watching JCN TV News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.